Welcome back for another Touch Base Tuesday. I'm Michael James, and this is Foodie and Fit. As part of Touch Base Tuesday, I like to check in and kind of update the progress I'm having and kind of talk about what I'm doing and some of the troubles and issues that I'm going through while trying to lose weight and on this journey. So right now it is Tuesday, and I'm down to 8.1 pounds. So from this last couple of days, I went down to 225 pounds. So compared to where I started off from, February 13th, when I was at 234, about a month later, I'm at 225. Ideally, if I keep up a slow and steady pace of consistently losing weight, by April, I should be down to 215, and by May, about the 205 area. That's not going to be an exact science, just because how people's bodies respond to weight loss, especially if you have a lot more weight to lose. It's easier to lose weight faster, and when it's little, it takes a little bit more effort, but just through consistency. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about a little bit, is just the motivation to stay consistent. It's very easy to fall off when it comes to weight loss. I've done it tremendously, but a lot of people do it, especially early on when you're not seeing the progress and the gains that you want, or early on after you've made a little bit of strides. It's easy to let up on the gas. So for me, I think it's hard for me early on, just when it's, okay, I lost a pound. Because that's not really as motivational as when you lose 25 pounds or 30 pounds. Like when you see that on the scale, when you see that information, you're just like, yes, I know I'm down so much. But especially when you lose just a pound, that can be disheartening, and that can it doesn't take away from your motivation, but it doesn't encourage your motivation, because hey, the scale will fluctuate every day. So especially when I'm working with friends who are talking with them about weight loss, some of them get very dejected very early on, just because it's hard to want to live your life and lose weight, and especially when you're trying to do everything you can to stay motivated, it's hard. And so you just need to ask yourself, what are you doing to keep yourself motivated on your journey? So for me, I've talked ad nauseum about using my Fitness Pal and my Fitbit, using those metrics to keep me motivated, but that's not always practical for everybody. The thing that I recommend for anyone serious about trying to lose weight to stay motivated is to talk about it. Make it no longer a private secret and a private shame that you have about hey, if you admit, some people think if they admit that they want to lose weight, that they're saying that they're fat and that there's something wrong with being fat or anything else, and goes down this dark rabbit hole. That's not the case. The reason why I want people to share that they're trying to lose weight is because it keeps it at the forefront of your mind. When you're talking, when you have a support group, it makes you more invested and want to stay motivated. When I first started losing weight, I was posting this onto Facebook and social media and telling my friends hey, I'm planning on losing weight, here's what's going to happen when I lose weight and everything else, just because then I can't shrink back from it. I have to hold myself accountable and try to stay motivated. It's no, too many people know about this, so I can't just wuss out on it. So that's why I'm curious, who are you sharing your weight loss journey with? If it's just something by yourself, that's possible. There are times where people do all types of sorts of stuff like this on their own. But it's easier, especially if it's your first time doing any sort of real dramatic weight loss, to talk to people about it. You'd be surprised. When I first started this and I was talking to it comes up. You'd be surprised that from someone who's not that fit to someone who's very fit, everyone's kind of wondering what can they do, and everyone's looking for how to improve for the most part. Honestly, I don't know too many people that haven't ever considered things they can do to lose weight. I just know a lot of people who kind of aren't motivated at that point. So they like, hey, they would if you ask them like, hey, here's a magic pill. You can lose as much weight as you want right now. And look, whatever your ideal body type is, you can look like that now. And everyone I've ever asked that to would take the pill. And so it's like, okay, if you take the pill, why wouldn't you put the work in now? It's because it's difficult. Like, it is demoralizing to get into weight loss because there's so much like mystery behind it, unfortunately, especially when you don't have a background for that. So again, just motivation's hard. Figure out who you can talk to and what you can do to stay motivated, because hey, you're not going to always have those gains on the scale where you're seeing the progress that like really rejuvenates you. For me, once I get to double digits, that's a little bit more impressive than when it's just like, okay, I lost 1.1 pounds, I lost 0.5 pounds, I lost, like, that's not as helpful for me. It's when I start seeing, right now I'm at 8.1 pounds, eventually it'll be at 10 pounds, and then 15 pounds, and then 20 pounds, and that's the thing that would like have me really proud and motivated, and then help keep me from cheating. So, like I said, this channel is about not just weight loss and the fitness aspect, it's also about food. I love good food, and anyone who actually knows me will tell you that like I can talk at length for my favorite restaurants or quiz people about the cuisines they like or the things that they like. The point of getting into that is because the goal doesn't need to be strict 100% of the time. That's a little bit unrealistic, and that in itself can be unmotivational or can take away from someone's motivation. The goal is to find that balance. So last week my weight went up a little bit, and like I showed on the graph, it's like, okay, that happens, and then it drops down even lower. So today I'm at 225. Yesterday I was at 227-ish, so I was like, okay, I went back to the lowest point I had of the previous week, and then it went further. What on Saturday and Sunday, I stuck to the same meal prepping, the same eating, most of the same stuff, but I was like, you know what? A friend of mine wanted to go for food, and I was just like, hey, it's Sunday, St. Patrick's Day, let me have a pint, and then let me have some shepherd's pie. So that was my meal on Sunday night, and on Monday morning, I'm less than what I had been previous in the week. So you can stay motivated by setting realistic expectations of what can happen. So the goals shouldn't be to try to, I'm only going to eat super healthy and burn myself out. It's with moderation. If one meal is your cheat meal for the week, that's fine. That will actually help you stay motivated. Don't go crazy and eat way too much and just have a bad experience where it's just like, okay, you really did counteract all your work for the week because you ate like 4, 5, 6, 7,000 calories in a day. But like, again, with moderation. I mean, I ate the whole shepherd's pie, I drank the whole beer. I was able to enjoy myself and like actually stay true to the holiday. And that's one of the things I'm going to try to do is just spend more time documenting not just the food that I'm eating when I'm trying to be healthy, but the cheat meal. The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, is famous for posting on Instagram pictures of his cheat meals. So I think on like Sundays he'll do all the sushi he can eat and a bunch of cookies. And that's the allowance he gives himself to stay motivated throughout the rest of the week. Because hey, if you're willing to put in as much, you don't even have to put in that much work as The Rock, but if you're staying consistent with your eating, like again, it's fine if one meal out of all the meals for the week is not the greatest, that's fine. You're still going to make progress, especially when you're of a higher body fat percentage. It's only when you get down to the lower body fat range where it's just like, okay, if you want to keep making progress, you need to cut out the cheat meals. If you're still above 20%, 25%, 30%, if you're for females, like you can one meal or 1 or 2 meals throughout the week is fine. But the thing is, again, and see what I just did there? I said 1 or 2 meals, and so I kind of went up, and that's the problem is people cheat and they start adding like, okay, well, you're right. I've been not doing this for a month. I've lost some weight. Hey, well, someone just invited me to go somewhere or do something. You know what? I'll make it 2 meals or then 3 meals, and then the things start to creep up and you start losing the progress. So when you're to help you stay motivated, you have to think about some of the problems before they occur. Like, hey, this is when I know I'll cheat. Is when I used to go to AMC theaters, I would get the nachos and a cherry iced tea. Especially when I found out they brought back real cherry, not white cherry. It's a thing. So I knew I'd always get that when I went there. So I kind of had to, like, it's either have the willpower to stop or no longer go there. And that's the thing that, like, a lot of people aren't motivated to do. You need to be willing to say no to some of the opportunities that, like, you know that's where you're cheap. Some people say, you know what, I only drink when I go to a bar, and I only eat bad food when I go to a bar. Unfortunately, you know, my friends like me, so I go out on Friday and Saturday, or sometimes Thursday for happy hour, and, you know, Taco Tuesday. And so they're unwilling to say no. It's hard to get started, but you have to be willing to say no once in a while, especially early on, to, like, hey, if someone offers you a snack, no thank you. Like, I don't even need to hear what it is. And when someone asks me, hey, would you like, no thank you. Just because it starts building the habit of, hey, you know what, I am trying to be healthy. And sometimes, like, again, I know maybe it's a thing that I'm going to love the most that someone's offering me, but it's just setting those good habits, because trust me, especially early on, until you get to a certain point where it just feels like that waterfall moment where everything's just going great, and then all your gains will stay your motivation. Early on, you just need to be able to say no to the situations that will take you out of your zone and make you forget, like, oh yeah, I'm not supposed to be eating this, or I'm not supposed to be doing that. So family gatherings, that can be important too. Of, hey, I know that for Thanksgiving, I'm going to enjoy my food. Or 4th of July when we do ribs at my family's house. So, like, I already know those things. That's fine. As long as you're, like, at that point, you're just trying to cut back a little bit and not go crazy. But for the next time I go to my parents' house and they make dinner, at that point, I'm like, yeah, I know they're good cooks and, like, I would enjoy what they're having, but, like, sometimes you just have to be willing to say no. And for some families that's easier, for some families that's harder. In my family, if I say no, that's it. They're not going to keep asking me, because they know when I say no, that's what I mean, and they don't need to nag me about it. For other people, they're going to keep tempting you. They're going to keep saying, hey, are you sure? Or I just made your favorite, or come on, I have so much extra. And then you're going to get that sliding scale of, like, well, you know, just a little bit, and then, well, it turns into you eating the normal portion that you were eating previously versus staying with the meal prepping or the portion control. So that's just why it's, what can you do to stay motivated and think of those problems early on. So if it requires talking to a family member or a friend or a spouse or partner and to say, like, hey, I'm really trying to lose weight, can you please not offer me food? Like, and that seems weird, but especially if you know that's going to be an issue for you later, like, you should take the time to try to mitigate those issues now so it's less of an issue. If you can just sidestep those things before they happen, you'll find yourself going further without having the same pitfalls. And that's the thing, is a lot of those pitfalls are something that you know that's going to happen and that you could have predicted if you would have just taken the time to think, like, through my week, all right, I know I'm going to get home late on Thursday, and when I get home late, I actually don't really want to cook. So for me, when I have long days and I'm like, okay, well, I know I'm not going to have time to eat my meal prep food, what I do is I go to Chipotle. And this isn't go to Chipotle and load up and stuff. I get some of the most boring bowls that you'll imagine, because it's just salad, chicken, a little bit of veggies, and only sometimes guacamole, but really it's just the three. And that's what I'll eat because, hey, that's about like 210, 230 calories. Sometimes if I'm behind on my calories, I'll go for guacamole. That's when that's an option for me, but I'm also kind of cautious because of the sodium intake. But that's the way I can, if I already know that's my default, and so that's what I've been having a lot more of lately because I've just been a little bit busier, like that's okay, but you need to think about that. So when it was 9:30 and I was fixing my computer last night, I was like, all right, cool, Chipotle closes at 10, I really need to hurry. So at like 9:45, I was hopping in my car and went to Chipotle to just grab a quick bowl and make sure I ate that food, because if it was 10 o'clock and I didn't go to Chipotle and I didn't have anything ready in my fridge, like it's a little bit easier to see that like I'm probably going to cheat. Am I going to spend as much time to try to defrost something and get everything going? Probably not. I know I was just going to cheat. So you have to at least have a backup and have a secondary backup, because going out to eat is fine. It's just knowing like what can I eat and where. So by having a default already laid out, so in my Fitness Pal I already have a Chipotle bowl with veggies, chicken and veggies on it, or a Chipotle bowl with chicken, veggies, and guacamole laid out, and I know how that it work for me. So it's a little bit easier most of the time. So that's just one of the ways that I like to keep going, is to keep that motivation, because sometimes it's not about getting motivated, it's just about staying motivated. And those little things that can get in your way, those won't kill your motivation, but it'll just slow it down, and then you'll catch yourself going at half the speed that you were, at half the intensity that you were towards your goal. So, like I said, for me, I'm down 8.1 pounds. The goal is to get down to 200 pounds. So from right now to 225 to 200 is not like I've done it before. It's just going to take, hey, staying consistent and understanding that the scale is going to go up and down, and to stay motivated through that. And so the best way to stay motivated is to no longer make that a secret and be able to talk to people about it. And so for me, that's why I create this vlog series, is to share and stay motivated, because then it helps keep me accountable. Like, accountability is key to staying motivated, because when it's a deep, dark secret that you're trying to lose weight, you can quit at any point. And that's the thing, is how many times have you tried to lose weight and then fell off and then quit, and it wasn't a big deal? There was no one to hold you accountable. You didn't have to hold yourself accountable. So I'm curious, please, what was the last time you tried to lose weight and then you fell off? What caused you to fall off? Like, please, engage me in the comments on YouTube. Just talk to me what happened and why. So, because that helps everyone else when they see like, oh, the situation they didn't think about. It's not just, I know what I can do at work. That's not a problem. Or I know what I can do when I'm tired. But I don't know what I can do when I go over to my aunt's house and she's cooking. Or when I travel and I'm cooking. That's another thing. It's like, think about some of these things. Just because you go travel for work or travel for pleasure and go on vacation doesn't mean that you're exonerated from having to worry about your fitness or your health and staying on track. You can still go to some of these places and still stay on it, but you have to maintain that motivation to do it. And so to maintain that motivation, you have to think about like, all right, am I going to have this big dish that I know is calorie dense and is going to blow out my macros and blow out my caloric intake for the day? It's tempting. You can still have a little bit of it, but like stay consistent with what you're trying to do and talk about it, share it, stay motivated, and that will help you persist long into the day. Well, this has been FoodieandFit for another Touch Base Tuesday. Take care and have a good one.